now.
A man opens fire on a KSAT 12 news crew, then barricades himself inside a home. An update on the hours-long standoff that ensued and what led to the shooting.
Plenty of rain to talk about on the radar this afternoon. We'll get to that and talk about our rain chances for the rest of the week, as it's an unsettled pattern. We'll see you in a bit.
A record-breaking weekend for the airline industry as more Americans return to normal traditions this 4th of July. How does that play into the pandemic? The news at 5 starts right now.
We saw them at the screen door. He started shooting at them. 5 officers returned fire, and he is deceased in the backyard right now.
First at 5, a standoff suspect is dead hours after he fired shots at a KSAT 12 news crew, then barricaded himself inside a home southeast of downtown. Police Chief William McManus just providing an update on that standoff and shooting, saying the suspect fired shots at officers and 5 of them returned fire. All 5 have now been with the police department between 5 and 18 years. They will be on administrative duty pending an investigation. Prior to that suspect being fatally shot, he repeatedly fired a gun at a KSAT 12 news crew and members of his own family. Our photographer Josh Saunders and reporter Dylan Collier were unharmed in that shooting and filed this report after being shot at.
San Antonio firefighters were quick to label this overnight blaze at 234 Noria suspicious. Shell casings at the scene indicated that someone may have fired at or near the home before it burned down early Monday morning. A police spokesman confirming officers had been here Saturday.
We're called for a suspect and then also in the backyard shooting rounds.
Officers left the home after not finding the suspect.
I have a lot of memories with my mom and all of us would sit in the porch.
As this family member described the decades of memories reduced to rubble overnight, this man she described as her nephew quietly sifted through the ashes. Moments after our interview ended, he emerged from the home holding 2 large handguns, firing at us and an SUV with his own family inside. By my count, 6 times, as we scattered in different directions. The camera's microphone and a handheld microphone capturing portions of our separate, frantic calls to 911.
Shots fired, 200 block of Noria Street. I'm with News Media, KSAT 12.
Looks like he's in 20s or 30s.
Right there's your photographer.
Stay on this side, stay on this side.
The suspect eventually left the home riding a bicycle, then jumped a gate and entered a home in the 300 block of Noria, which was later surrounded by police as crisis negotiators tried to talk to the man. And again, that situation ended with the man being killed by officers after he opened fire at them. Chief William McManus a few minutes ago telling us that he knew several people inside of that home. That home was familiar to him, and that he had actually left the home and gone into some sort of air-conditioned shed. And it was after coming outside of that shed and engaging with officers that he was shot and killed in that backyard. Reporting live on the southeast side, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Dylan. We are so thankful you and Josh are okay tonight. A fatal shooting happening on the city's north side after a fallout at a business. Right now, San Antonio police have that suspect in custody. The shooting happened at a business on Blanco Road in Parliament, right across the street from Churchill High School. Patty Santos joins us now from the scene with what police are saying happened. Patty?
The incident happened just a few hours ago right here in the parking lot behind this shopping center. San Antonio police say the argument between 2 men inside a nail salon led to a shooting outside in the parking lot. Police say a 46-year-old man died in the hospital. The suspected shooter, a 42-year-old man, was later arrested just a few miles from this location. At this point, police are not giving much information about a motive in this case, but I did get a chance to call the nail salon, and they tell me that the victim was someone connected to their business. Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Taking a look now at other stories we're following today. Right now, the Bexar County Medical Examiner is working to identify a person who died in a car fire this morning. San Antonio police found that vehicle in flames around 4 a.m. near Loop 1604 and Valero Way. Once the fire was put out, they found one person inside the vehicle. However, due to the damage, they could not determine whether it was a man or a woman or even what the make or model of that vehicle was. We now know the names of 3 men who died in a wrong-way crash yesterday morning. They have been identified as 33-year-old Jose Luna, 20-year-old Joel Terquez, and 19-year-old Brian Solis. San Antonio police say Solis and Terraquez were fleeing a shooting scene near a downtown nightclub on Sunday morning. They hit Luna's SUV head-on at the McCullough exit ramp along I-35. No other injuries were reported. A hit-and-run driver is now facing charges thanks to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office and Converse Police. BCSO tells us the driver was arrested around 10 o'clock last night on Glenhaven Street. Right now, it's unclear where that crash happened or if anyone was hurt. We do know the driver resisted arrest but was eventually taken into custody. Another person also facing charges for a hit and run last night. This crash involving a man on a scooter. San Antonio police say the victim was leaving Market Square around midnight when someone in a sedan hit him and didn't stop to help. That victim suffered a broken leg and was taken to the hospital. The suspect was arrested about a block away and charged with failure to stop and render aid. What started as a way to help people experiencing homelessness in San Antonio during the pandemic is now transitioning to a more long-term initiative. The city of San Antonio's downtown homeless resource hub at the San Fernando Gym is being relocated. Tiffany Huertas joins us live at the new center. And Tiffany, apparently we do not have Tiffany live, but we can tell you last year this was set up in response to shelters and food pantries closing down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is where that new location will be. The city's COVID response homeless resource hub is moving to Corazon, San Antonio, which is located at 504 Avenue E on the campus of the Grace Lutheran Church. Corazon, San Antonio was founded in 1999 and provides meals, clothing, hygiene items, access to primary medical care, and much more. The new center hopes to make an even bigger impact.
And this is going to be more of a day resource hub for meals, for respite, for case management, and for street outreach.
On Friday, we did transition the San Fernando hub, and we partnered with Corazon Ministry to make.
Now, for the last 16 months, the city has worked alongside Corazon San Antonio, Centro San Antonio, SAPD's Hope Team, and other partners to operate the resource hub. The city's downtown resource hub has provided information on COVID-19, ID recovery, clothing, and much more. The search is officially back on in Surfside, Florida, after the remaining portion of that partially collapsed condo building was demolished last night. Right now, the death toll is up to 27, and with more than 100 people still unaccounted for, crews are now searching previously unreachable areas of the debris pile. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Rescue teams pushing full steam ahead in Surfside with what was left of Champlain Towers South now completely gone.
We have rescue crews working now in 6 different places. Operations are now moving much faster than they ever have.
Workers now given the all clear, removing new debris and sifting through previously unreachable areas after demolition crews brought down the rest of the condo building Sunday night. Several more bodies pulled from the rubble.
We worked very hard to bring this building down so we could get access to this pile, where it is hoped that there are voids that will allow us to continue the search and rescue operation.
Officials insist it was the safest decision with Tropical Storm Elsa now closing in on Florida.
These winds could still be quite strong across the area, as well as locally heavy rain and localized flooding.
More than 100 people are still unaccounted for, their families desperate for answers, and those who survived working on rebuilding their lives, their homes entirely destroyed.
This is not about losing property. It's about trauma.
2 nearby buildings were evacuated over the weekend, including Crestview Towers in North Miami Beach. 300 residents told to leave because an engineer found the building structurally and electrically unsafe.
Coming home and I realized all this commotion, and that's when I realized that I have to get out.
After this unthinkable tragedy, nearby cities are looking to bring other high-rise condo buildings into compliance with the 40-year recertification requirements. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
A settlement has now been reached over a container ship that blocked the Suez Canal earlier this year and disrupted global trade. That ship now expected to set sail once again sometime later this week. It has been on hold by the Suez Canal Authority since March after it became stuck for 6 days. The authority originally asked for $900 million for lost revenue, among other things. The price tag was later lowered to $550 million. No details of the settlement have been provided.
Take a look at the radar over the past 5 hours and see the activity just scattered across South and Central Texas. And now it's really starting to fill in around parts of San Antonio, especially the east side near Windcrest and up on the north side of town, the far north side in particular, Stone Oak over toward the Dominion, Leon Springs, right up to 1604 here. And this is all building southward. So I anticipate better coverage of rain across Bexar County and the city of San Antonio over the next hour to 2 hours. Let's talk about temperatures and rainfall accumulations. Already in Del Rio, an inch of rain in Warren's backyard, 0.2 of an inch, Rock Springs. Elsewhere where it's not raining, we've got temperatures well into the 80s, but where we've had the rain cooled air, we're in the 70s right now. So a big difference all across South and Central Texas in terms of temperatures. And of course, that ties into where it's actually raining. And we'll have these downpours through the evening hours, but a few hours after sunset, pretty much all of it should be coming to an end. We're going to talk more about the rain chances for the rest of the week. It's an active pattern. More on this and the current rainfall coming up, Tim.
Thank you, Adam. It was a welcome return of pre-pandemic traditions in this country. Many Americans celebrating the nation's independence with loved ones and without masks. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez with what this 4th of July weekend looked like on the roads and in airports and how it could play into the pandemic.
With the July 4th fireworks and parades now over, the trek home for many Americans begins. On Friday, more than 2 million people passed through U.S. airports, the most since before the start of the pandemic. And some experts estimate that record could be broken again today.
It's the longest that I've ever seen. I travel often for work, haven't seen it this. Yeah. Look, it's moving, but it's taken a lot of time.
And this will be another busy day on the roads as many of the estimated 44 million people who drove to their holiday weekend destinations head home. With so many Americans traveling after spending the weekend in large groups, health officials are concerned about a possible surge in COVID-19 cases in areas with low vaccination rates. Fueling those fears, the highly contagious Delta variant, now reported in all 50 states and accounting for more than 26% of new COVID cases nationwide.
The best defense against these variants is to get vaccinated. My fellow Americans, it's the most patriotic thing you can do.
The CDC reports 58% of adults in this country are fully vaccinated. A new ABC News Washington Post poll finds that among those who are unvaccinated, 74% say they are unlikely to get a shot. And within that group, most dismiss the scientific evidence and say they believe the risk of the Delta variant is exaggerated and believe they have little to no risk of getting sick with the coronavirus. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Summer is here, and what better time to break out the burgers? No matter which toppings you like the best, burgers start with the meat, of course, but which method makes the perfect patty? We weigh the options next. No doubt some good old American hamburgers were on a lot of your plates this 4th of July holiday. And while some debate over ketchup versus mustard, here's the bigger question. What's the best way to cook those burgers? Well, you can grill them, broil them, or fry them up in a pan. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz finds out which delivers the best burger.
Consumer Reports resident chef Paul Hope enjoys a good burger.
I love a fancy dressed up burger with all the premium toppings, but I'm also not above a midnight run to the drive-thru.
But when it comes to cooking, is there one method that's best? To find out, Paul cooked up pre-made 5-ounce 80/20 ground beef burger patties 3 ways. In a cast iron skillet, under a broiler, and on a gas grill.
We used an 80/20 mixture of ground beef because it has enough fat to keep the patties moist even when you cook them through to a safe internal temperature.
He also tried 2 meat alternative burgers, the Beyond and Impossible. Turns out whether meat-free or beef, broiling is the least messy, but it leaves you little control unless you want to keep opening the oven.
In the broiler, I found it hard to get the timing exactly right, so one side would usually end up mushy.
With the skillet, though, you can easily flip and rotate. It delivers a burger that's crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. And finally, the grill. It turns out the best burgers, especially when you're feeding a crowd.
The grill required a full 10-minute preheat, but as I often feel when I'm grilling, it was definitely worth the wait.
Once on the hot grill, the patties cooked quickly, just 3 to 4 minutes aside. If you don't grill, no worries, just add your toppings, and they're all good eats. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
I don't know about you, Adam, but if you're a dad, I think you lose your dad card if you don't cook those burgers on the grill.
I'm with you on that, absolutely.
Yeah. You might need an umbrella if you're out there making some burgers for the family tonight.
Yes, at least give it some time for these showers to pass, because they will pass. But this is some good soaking rain over the aquifer recharge zone. Not so friendly if you have a pool party or a backyard barbecue going on. But remember, this is some beneficial, helpful rain. Let's get right to the radar. I want to get right to this and analyze the situation a bit. Of course, we're in an active weather pattern, so we're getting these numerous downpours with a little bit of lightning and thunder, and they're pretty scattered in nature. So you look across our area and you see just over the past hour how much it has filled in northern Bexar County. So this is the activity that it really just morphs and modifies throughout the day. Let's go up to Kerrville, in particular, Kerr County, just west of Kerrville. Heavy rainfall right along the I-10 corridor, Mountain Home toward Kerrville. Kerrville, you're not in on the action so much at the moment, but nearby they are. And even on I-10 around Bernie, heavy rainfall. We did have a little bit of lightning and thunder associated with that action, and even head into Bandera County. We've got those scattered downpours with a little bit of lightning and thunder. It's basically New Braunfels to Canyon Lake, along 46 as well, but now stretching into San Antonio, particularly the far north side of town. This is where we have the heaviest rain. I'm going to pause it right here. And very heavy downpours approaching the rim, La Cantera, UTSA, and even Helotes. All this activity is just gradually drifting southward, and currently it's in Stone Oak, stretching all the way down into the Hollywood Park area, basically over toward Windcrest as well. Roosevelt High School, seeing those downpours right along the I-35 corridor there between 410 and 1604. But then you get up into Comal County, closer to New Braunfels, and we have more of that activity. So this is all just widely scattered in nature, but it has dumped some very heavy rainfall. Just look at the rainfall rates. I mean, it's coming down very hard here, particularly Leon Springs over to Stone Oak. Look at some of these values. Stone Oak right here near Reagan High School, 7.6 inches per hour. Okay, that's the rate. Now, it's not going to be raining for a whole hour at that rate. Nonetheless, you're still going to tally up some impressive rainfall accumulations. Already within this area where it's still coming down hard, we've seen over a few inches of rain. Near Leon Springs, almost in Camp Bullis there, about 2.4 inches. Closer to Bulverde, even higher accumulations as we get up farther north where they've seen more of the rain longer today. Look at some of these values here. You get near Bulverde and you're talking 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, over 3 inches. And then right along 46 here, that's where we have 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. So impressive when it comes to the actual totals where you're seeing the heavy downpour. So Stone Oak, you could easily get a few quick couple of inches out of this. Not forgetting Del Rio, folks, off to the west. We've got these areas of heavy rain that are slowly drifting southward as well. A lot of lightning associated with that. All right, our future cast. This action, as usual, is going to simmer down after sunset. Most of the night is going to be generally dry. Tomorrow, I think we'll get an earlier start. We'll have the instability to start the day, so scattered showers, downpours, a little bit of lightning and thunder periodically throughout the day tomorrow. Off and on in nature, scattered across South and Central Texas. As for temperatures, hey, already over 1/10 of an inch of rain at the airport today. Our high temperature was 91. Right now, we're at 81, and that's going to drop even more because of the rain that's pushing southward toward the airport. Where you have the showers, typically you're in the 70s. Dew point is 74, so we're all feeling the humidity. You can tell where it's raining and where it's not just by looking at the map here. 95 Carrizo Springs, 92 Pleasanton. Then you get up into Bernie, 79, Bulverde, 76, and Canyon Lake, 75. So tomorrow, In between some of those showers and downpours, I think we'll make it into the mid-80s. Southeasterly breeze at 5 to 10. Most numerous showers and storms tomorrow. Even Wednesday, scattered in nature. Thursday as well, but I think they'll become less numerous gradually throughout the week. Nonetheless, you still have many more opportunities to get in on one or two of these downpours.
All right, thank you, Adam. Greg, the NBA Finals kick off this week, and it is nice to see some new teams in there.
You know, originally they were going to start for Game 1 on Thursday because they thought there would be a Game 7 necessary in the Eastern Conference Finals. That is not the case. They'll actually start tomorrow. And today, the Milwaukee Bucks departed for Phoenix for Game 1, and that man is on board their charter. That's good news if you're a Bucks fan. And the Suns are favored to win it all when we come back. Reminding San Antonio fans of the Spurs' glory days. Fans in Milwaukee welcome home the Bucks as the airport as Eastern Conference Finals champions in big board sports. This is a good sign if you're a Milwaukee fan. Giannis Antetokounmpo boarding the team charter for Phoenix today to tip off the NBA Finals tomorrow night. That's because Giannis has not played since Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Atlanta when he hyperextended his knee. Even without him, the Bucks were able to clinch the Eastern Conference Finals in Game 6 with a 118-107 victory to close out that series 4-2 behind Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, who combined for 59 points. Middleton coming to life in the third quarter, where he scored 23 of his 32 points, including 16 in a row. Now Milwaukee's headed to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1974 in search for their second NBA title in franchise history. Still no word on if the Greek Freak will be available for Game 1, but at least we know he made the trip.
It was awesome. Again, I'm still kind of on this high, but man, I'm going to the finals. It's just cool to think again as a little kid, man, this is what you watch the playoffs for. This is like all the moments that like I felt as a little kid watching TV. I lived them and went through them. And now I get to go to the finals and see what this is about. So, again, man, I'm just like, I'm ecstatic.
And the Phoenix Suns are in the finals for the first time since 1993, looking for their first ever NBA championship in franchise history, and will be 5.5-point favorites in Game 1 at home tomorrow night. One thing these two teams have in common is that their head coaches are a product of the Greg Popovich coaching tree. Milwaukee's Mike Budenholzer, who was Pop's right-hand man for a decade, and Monty Williams, who not only played for Pop, but also worked in the front office. Now they face off on the biggest stage the NBA has to offer.
Unbelievably grateful for the blessings that I've received as a coach, working with people like Randy, getting to coach the players, moments like this, just out there on the floor talking to a few of the guys. They were like trying to figure out the feelings we were all having. And I remember, being in those moments when I was, in San Antonio. It's hard to describe.
All right, the NBA Finals will be the first two games will be in Phoenix starting tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and it's all live right here on KSAT 12. Good luck to both teams.
Yeah, it should be a fun series to watch. Thanks, Greg. We'll be back right after this.
Rain has been filling in on the far north side of town throughout the past hour. It's slowly drifting southward. We'll continue to monitor that. Tomorrow, an early start to the rain, scattered in nature off and on.